Everybody's here, yes? We're not missing anybody?
Uh,
We've got.
Yep, okay, cool. Everyone's here. Alright, let's go ahead and officially get started then, shall we?
Woohoo!
Thanks everybody for making it out. Glad we could be reassembled again. So, brief recap. For those of you who wish to not know what the brief recap is, I suggest you cover your ears for a hot second.
Okay, bye.
I believe Clint actually doesn't want to know. So if he hasn't muted himself yet, could go and ping him when we're done.
I'm not leaving.
Oh, okay. Anyways, last time on Dragon Ball Z, there was a lot of screaming. But last time on Fate of Foenum, there was internal screaming because of reasons. So Road and Silk went on an adventure. They went over to the cesspit to gather information. There they encountered a rather erratic sheep, a rather patriotic Longma who informed them that no one's allowed to go into the jungle. They encountered a Longma crime syndicate, and then were ambushed by Saint, who was sent to kill them.
Woo!
Oh yeah, I remember the sheep. I'm vaguely reminded of the alpaca from Crack.
And they
Also,
escaped.
sorry.
After you.
I was just going to say, important fact about the whole Saint. Road and Silk disguised themselves, so Saint was unawares that she was going after Road and Silk.
Saint is still unaware, in fact.
It's funny you should say this, because that was the next thing I was going to say. So fine timing on your part. Yes, they were in disguise. They booked out of there, and then they went into disguise. Well, Silk undisguised herself, and then Road changed into a Longma and basically pretended to be a guard, escorting someone who was out past curfew, and then got bribed to take Saint back to the Golden Flower. So, Road, in the disguise of a Longma, is currently quote-unquote escorting Silk and Saint, and they just passed by the Mosquito Inn. It is a little after curfew at this point, and Fawn's performance is about to begin. And that's where I wanted to pick up. Before we officially start, does anybody have any questions or any clarifications they wanted to throw out?
Well, Fawn's performance is inside the inn, right?
Well, yes, with an asterisk.
Yeah, I figured. With an asterisk?
Yes.
Asterisk?
Yeah, with an asterisk. First of Fawn, you were taking a 10, correct? You were taking your sweet time to prepare?
I would take the whole afternoon.
What's your performance? Like, what's the total if you
Plus if I took a 10?
Yeah.
It'd be a 23.
23? Okay, cool. As you guys, so we'll go ahead and pick up. As you guys approach the Mosquito Inn, you see. Let me zoom a little bit for my own benefit. Right, and I'm going to snap us all over here real quick.
Half the party disappears.
As you approach, you see on this side, on the third floor, there are two large windows, essentially bay windows, and they're currently open. And standing there near the center of the windows, facing in towards the inn, but nevertheless, is Fawn, and she has begun singing, and the music is very audible on the outside of the inn as it heads out into the streets. And her performance is incredible. For those of you who have never heard Fawn sing, this is a whole nother experience. I mean, it's a 23 performance check. And the audience, well, you can't see the audience, but Fawn, you can see the audience. At first, they're a little skeptical, but probably within the first half second, the vast majority of them are completely enraptured, as is to be expected. There are a couple of those who it's probably not their kind of music, but they recognize that, like, all right, this is pretty good. I'm not, Norwegian death metal isn't my thing, but this is high quality stuff. I'm not saying you're actually singing Norwegian death metal, but you get my point.
Dang it.
Oh no! Oh no!
No, I suspect you're
New
more.
headcanon.
I'm curious. I suspect you're singing more like, say, like an aria, or maybe more along the pop side of things. But what What sort of song are you singing? Just out of curiosity.
I actually sent a sort of something like Celtic Women or Fawn.
You have chosen a very good band. I highly approve of your choice.
That is a good one.
Celtic Woman is fabulous. I haven't listened to them in a hot minute. I need to change that.
Well, who wants to get demonetized and put Celtic Woman on?
Hooray! I can't wait to cut into all the profits I'm making from running this game.
Oh
Yay.
no, our 4
Yes.
cents.
Well, I think I've gotten $3 from someone so far. That's beside the point. I'd be tempted to make a shameless plug, but that seems a bit too shameless, so I won't. That said, that's pretty much the situation you come across, is her singing this gorgeous folk music, primarily Rhaenish. I guess.
Yeah, whether you want it to be like Germanic, that strange mesh of Norwegian, Germanic, whatever you want to say, it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's definitely pretty heavily Scandinavian with some, and we'll say white. We'll throw some Germanic overtones, because why not? Since I recently learned that apparently there's a canon jarl in the actual game that's fighting herds in rain, so they're pretty heavily Scandinavian.
And that Velvet has a skin based on said Jarl.
So yeah, so it's essentially okay. So it's not Norwegian death metal, but it's Norwegian folk music. Very pretty Norwegian folk music. That's later in the evening. So that said, that's the situation you guys come across. What do you do?
Well, the guard leading the two prisoners, in air quotes, stops for half a minute to kind of just stare.
Fawn does not take notice.
Of course.
Why are we stopped?
At hearing that, then the guard sort of rubs the back of their head and just says, sorry, just taking in the show. And continues upwards.
Wait, what is the show?
The disguised road gives Saints a funny look and says something along the lines of, you never heard of a performance before?
Saint just stares.
Yeah, no, that reindeer up there is singing and doing all that sort of stuff.
Singing?
Can't you hear it?
Could you explain what singing is?
What is the definition of singing?
It's mouth sounds to a melody.
Yeah. Like, sounding nice with your voice, and lyrics and things.
Saint
That's the
says
thing
nothing.
that one reindeer never stopped doing for the past month.
Saint stops to stare at the inn for just a moment before following Road.
By the way, Fawn, you were told that the back windows behind you were going to be opened as part of the performance, and it is explained that apparently the keeper of the inn, even though it's been a long tradition to open the windows into the street, because before the curfew, it was pretty common for people to gather in the streets, to gather in the street in front of the inn if it was a really good performance, because sometimes there wasn't enough room, or people would go out into the street because they couldn't hear too well the levels below. So it's basically a way of allowing more people to hear the performance. And even though the curfew is up, he still keeps the tradition alive.
And now he's letting in mosquitoes.
People here just accept that mosquitoes are a fact of life. You can't really get away from them.
First off, they'd get it anyway. Second off, maybe they want to see the show too.
Mosquitoes have feelings. They enjoy a good song.
So yeah, I'm up on the balcony now.
Indeed. Although, Fawn, give me a perception check, would you?
Sure thing.
Oh, okay then. You don't notice the group passing in the night.
Clank, clank, clank.
Your performance will. To be fair, Fawn is singing fairly loudly. This is as you're walking by, it's during a particularly, shall we say,
Quiet
stirring
time.
song. Like the sort of song where you thump your hoof along and and bob your head, and sometimes get up and dance a little bit.
Very passionate section.
It's one of those going on at the moment versus a very quiet, peaceful area where people might be crying, kind of thing. All right, so the group then proceeds on their way.
I suppose so. Road mentally gives a thought to contacting her, but thinks that she's a little busy.
All right, as you make your
I'm
way.
in kind of the same boat there.
Oh, Citrus will stay around and watch the show.
All right, so Citrus is hanging back.
Even
Okay.
if it's loud to her poor little ears.
It's okay. She's hearing all the notes that Fawn isn't aware that she's singing. It enhances the show.
Yeah.
All right, as you guys head out, you walk past the completely inconspicuous fountain. There's another guard there who simply looks at you curiously but says nothing. And as you pass by the upper docks, you see it's much more heavily guarded. There's several guards there, and they question you. They question you slightly, but they don't give you much trouble once you explain that you're basically escorting people back to their foreigners back to their where they are in the Golden
Quarters.
Flower.
Yes.
Especially when you mention that they're in the Golden Flower, they're like, "Oh, of course, sorry." They then apologize to your prisoners as you put them, apologizing for the inconvenience and hoping that they enjoy their stay at the Golden Flower. Even as a few of them, even as a few of them spit on the ground at the mention of the place.
And in hindsight, yeah, I guess calling them prisoners is a pretty bad thing for a guard to do. I found these guys out trespassing overnight at the curfew. They're my prisoners now.
To be fair, I don't know that's the absolute worst thing you could have said.
I mean, it's
You
true.
take prisoners.
And I'll say, Road does not call the two reindeer prisoners.
Although several of them do regard, they don't give Silk too much attention. Is Red out or is he in?
Oh no, he's hidden.
Okay. Although they do regard Saint very curiously. After all, it's basically a walking tank coming through. Um, and when you arrive back at the Golden Flower, I presume you guys head back to your accommodations.
Uh, hmm. Road is going to, as we head back to the Golden Flower, that area, Road is going to sort of, not exactly pull Silk aside, but he's going to go over to her and whisper to her so that Saint can't hear. How about you go in first and I come in slightly later to make people think we're not together, if you get what I'm saying.
Silk just nods.
Then, with that, the two reindeer go in. The Longma goes off and then comes back 5 minutes later as a cow.
All right,
Or rather, a bull. Cow was earlier.
So Saint and Silk go in.
Presumably so. Yeah.
Sure.
All right. When you guys get back, before we do this, Apolia,
Yes.
is there anything you wanted to do during this time? We'll say it's probably been about 2 to 3 hours that everybody's been gone, and you've been sitting there with your sister.
I guess just ask her what's been going on in Huoshan during that time. Like, with the Civil War and such.
All right.
What does she know? Tell me everything.
Well, she says she remembers. She doesn't remember exactly how long ago it was. It's a bit muddy to her, but she remembers there was this guy who showed up. He was pretty charismatic and not bad looking as far as Longma go, and she admits she might be a little biased, for obvious reasons. And he kept going on and on about the Empress and how corrupt she and her court had become, how decrepit the nation had become, how they were supposed to be defenders of Foenum, but when was the last time they defended anything? They become really isolationist. They should be, reaching out and all this stuff, and just kept harping again and again on these old traditional values. And she noticed that it caused a lot of stir. A lot of people were sort of divided. Should we, does this guy have a good point? Does he not? And then seemingly overnight, she doesn't remember exactly how long it took. But seemingly overnight, it seemed as if he managed to gather an army and then march on the city hall, take over the city hall, and then apparently there was this great big fire just a little north of the city hall. And then after that, they marched up onto the volcano, and they've been fighting ever since. And for the first couple of weeks, things were pretty hectic down here. She mentioned that things were placed under martial law. The Kingsmen, as they called themselves, were at first a bit rough. Like they were, well, basically little more than poorly equipped bullies, or thugs, I should say. But eventually, apparently, after a couple of weeks, things kind of calmed down, and instead of really picking fights and causing issues, they actually seem to have remembered that they were actually, what they were fighting for, and things ever since have become stable. Unsurprisingly, she says they haven't heard anything from the capital. Granted, they don't really hear much from the capital to begin with, but especially now they've heard absolutely nothing for obvious reasons. But as far as life on the ground is concerned, for the first couple of weeks, it was pretty hectic. It was pretty dangerous, but things now are, aside from the curfew, things aren't that different. People don't really go out on the streets very much. The memories of how the Kingsmen treated them at first are still pretty fresh in everybody's minds. And as far as like, do you fight? Are you on the side of the Empress or on the side of the King? It's a pretty hot topic, pun intended.
Oh God.
And can cause and still causes some fights. And she mentions that ever since they've closed the docks, it's actually caused a lot of problems because a lot of sailors who depend on those ships have been stuck either here or down at the lower docks with nothing to do, and it's been causing more problems more and more as time goes on. And she muses slightly if part of the reason things are more quiet in the rest of the city is because the guards have been too busy down at the docks trying to keep order. Let's see what else is there to share. She then says, perhaps unsurprisingly, your ship is the first one we've seen ever since this whole thing started. She then, and that's pretty much the long and short of it. She first spends a bit of time hoping that perhaps her husband is actually well, and that's all she's got. And apparently, she reports that before this whole civil war started, there wasn't any indication that something like this was coming. There wasn't any particular unrest. No one was particularly discontent. Any sort of place, like there's always those who mumble and grumble, but it's not like there was any organized movement that she could see. It seemed the whole thing just kind of came out of nowhere, relatively speaking. And she says no one's really sure who this king is either. Like, no one seems to know much about where he came from, only that he showed up with his rhetoric, created an army, and is now fighting. But whenever you ask like anybody in the ranks more about him, apparently there's a whole lot of just shrugs, or they tell you not to worry about it.
Because you want that when you're serving somebody.
Well, again, this is they also give the excuse that until he is properly in charge, they need to keep information about him restricted because there's an active enemy who's trying to dispose him, and the less information the enemy has, the better chance he has of being alive. At least that's the excuse they give.
Sounds like the.
And from time to time, Lady Gao comes in and offers, some slightly different viewpoints, or not viewpoints, but augments her story from a slightly different perspective. For example, she mentions again that the Golden Flower itself has been threatened by the Kingmen a number of times to be shut down. Initially, they actually marched on the place to burn it to the ground, but nope, that's not it. That's not it. Lady. Oh shoot! How did I say this?
Lady On?
No. Lady Cui. How's that said? Choi?
Kui?
Kui? You'll say Kui. Jane Kui? Yeah, okay. Lady Kui, the owner of the establishment, had enough clout to basically walk out in there and be like, no, we've been here for, several hundred, not thousands of years. You're not burning this place down. And managed to make them go away. But nevertheless, the Kingsmen would love to reduce this place to ash because the Golden Flower refuses to change his allegiance. Partly because the Golden Flower is essentially subsidized by the imperial capital. Like this is, she reports that the Golden Flower started way back when as a nice place to stay, and ever since then, the Empire has officially chosen this as this is the place for foreign dignitaries to stay, kind of thing.
Meanwhile,
Yes. Meanwhile, over at the Mosquito Inn,
An actual dignitary is staying.
yes, an actual dignitary is staying at one of the the Mosquito Inn isn't the worst place in town, but it's like maybe got 3 out of 5 stars. Maybe 2, depending on the room you get.
Look, we would have brought you over if it weren't for curfew.
Back to the main party.
Yes, back to the main party. Don't worry, we haven't forgotten you, Flaw. We'll get back to you. Anyways, but again, Lady Gal only comes in from time to time to offer, these little bit of extra insights. And then from there, I suppose your conversation just evolves into simple conversation between the two of you as she tries her best to find comfort in the fact that she's, someone she knows and cares about is here with her to help her in this tough time. And after a little bit of this, you see Silk and Saint come walking back into the room.
I wanted to ask Saint a question before we actually entered the building, though.
But before that, Silk asked a question.
So kind of right at the door, Silk's gonna put a hoof up. Saint, where were you today? After we parted ways.
Busy.
Busy with what?
I not know how to say.
Why not?
Because that's what I was told to do.
Who told you that?
The who told me this, OC?
Who told you that there were people you needed to go silence?
Or no, not that. Who that told me that I'm not allowed to say what I did.
Wasn't it the same person?
No one, at least from me, no one's explicitly told you you're not allowed to talk about what you do or what you're doing. But you were told by Lady Gal, the person who sent you on this mission, that there are those who might not understand Father's name properly, who might profane it, who might not respect it properly. But she didn't explicitly tell you not to tell anybody what you were doing.
Alright, finally same size, and after a moment she said, I was looking for a few people. They were talking about father, and it might not end up well for them. So I was going to ask them to stop talking about it. That was the plan, at least.
I see. Remind me again how long we were in the we were in this part of the Golden Flower when we stopped in.
When you first arrived?
Yeah.
You were probably there for not too long because you had a conversation and then you guys left. So I would
Right.
say
Yeah, I guess
for
we left pretty early.
basically we're there for like 20, 30 minutes. Like the equivalent if you checked into the hotel room, dropped off your belongings, and left.
All right. Silk's just gonna kind of say, I see. And then she goes inside.
All right.
Saints follows, yes.
And Palia, while you're sitting there, you see Saint and Silk walk in, and Lady Gal looks up. Remind me of your passive perceptions again. Silk, Apollya, and Saint.
11.
12.
22.
And what's your passive insight, Apolia?
Passive insight?
Yes.
What's passive insight? I've never
It's
heard
the
of
same
this.
thing as passive perception,
So
except with your insight.
take your insight skill check number and then add 10 to it
Pretty much.
Oh,
Before-
13.
before any feats or anything.
13.
13? Okay. Alright, give me a quick insight then, Apolia. Alright. When they step in, Lady Gal looks up at Silk and has a pretty neutral expression, perhaps a slight curious expression. And when Saint walks in, in the briefest of moments, you see disgust and anger, and then suddenly go back to her neutral, uh, somewhat pleasant face. Oh, welcome back. She turns towards Saint. I take it you've concluded your business then, yes? Or your errands, sorry, that's what you said. I take it you've concluded your errands?
Not exactly.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, your friends were looking for you earlier. I suppose they'll be very happy to see that you've come back.
I suppose so.
She then turns towards Silk. You were out quite late. Did you encounter any trouble on the way back?
A little bit, but nothing we didn't know how to deal with.
Ah, well, that's good to hear. Well, please, make yourselves comfortable. I have business to attend to this evening. Ash will be back in a little bit. She gets up and seems to sort of prep herself a little bit. Don't worry, I won't be long. And that she opens the door and heads out.
Does she close the door behind her?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Additionally, does the random Longma guard outside see her?
She will actually bump into your road after you've changed, but we'll do that in a moment. I want to see if there's anything
Oh, okay.
the party wants to do that are in the room before we do that.
Well, Apolly is going to look around at the people gathered and say, well, she's hiding something.
Oh, definitely.
She doesn't look too happy with Saint.
She doesn't.
No, she looked
Because I failed.
failed.
I thought they were associates. Failed?
What do you mean by failed?
To complete my errand. This is how things are. Whatever consequences there are, I will deal with them.
Silk looks unhappy at this but doesn't say anything.
Road, as you start heading back into the room, did I cut you off, Clint? Was there anything you wanted to say before we transitioned?
No.
Okay. You bump into Lady Gao. Not literally, mind you, but she crosses paths. She's like, oh, hello.
Oh, hello. Good to see you again. I'm just heading in for the night.
She nods. I trust you didn't have too much trouble out past curfew.
He gave us a bit of a sort of a grin. I kind of had to be pointed this way by the guards for a second. I'm not used to the city, but Not exactly, no.
She chuckles a bit. It's a strange city, to be sure. Well, it is good to see that you have made it back safely. Your companions are waiting for you. I have some business to attend to this evening, but I won't be long.
Alright, well, see you soon then. Good luck with whatever those errands are.
Nods. She then stops and turns and looks at Rode. Excuse me, but if I recall correctly, you arrived on a ship earlier today, correct?
Mm,
Or should I
the
say,
ball.
might I presume that you arrived on the ship earlier today?
The ball gives a nod.
She nods. And tell me, hold on a second, lost my train of thought. Forgive me, we don't have many ships coming in nowadays, and I'm somewhat familiar with most of the faces in the city. I've been here for quite a while. Tell me, do you have more in your company who are staying here, or is this all of you?
Road gives a slight look towards the room that we're residing in, and one sort of towards the wonderful mosquito inn. No, this wouldn't be all of us. We've got a. One of us is staying down at the mosquito inn, and I believe there were a couple others who got off the boat.
She looks visibly aghast when you say the Mosquito Inn. Oh, that dreadful place? Oh, place is a hold on. I can't say pigsty. You know what? No,
That's
no,
a
That's
little
racist.
no. She's a jerk. Yeah. Oh, that place pigsty.
Road raises an eyebrow at the pigsty, and I guess plays along. Oh, it's not the nicest, but they seem like a nice crowd at least.
And tell me, what is your associate? Look, what's their name?
Uh, oh, you haven't heard? She's pretty popular down in Rain. Fun.
Does she have a
Yes.
surname?
Mm. Road kind of raises an eyebrow, like in.
Well, there are many reindeer who have the name Fawn. It's a surprisingly popular one. That's why I asked if there's a surname.
Oh,
It's
really?
the fawn.
Yeah. I only heard it once or twice throughout my time there. But yes, I believe she goes by Vaughn. Is it maybe Rockhoof? Something gem fluff. Something like that.
It'll be difficult to find your companion if you cannot recall her name properly, or their name properly.
Oh. Road kind of rubs a hoof to the back of his neck. I'm just not the most versed, at least not as versed as I should be with everyone here.
Go ahead and give me a history check.
Oh, a history or a deception?
Depends. Are you lying? Or are you actually struggling to remember?
No. Road has seen Fawn's performances before. He knows her last name.
All right, then give me a deception.
Okay. Let's see. Oh wait. Oh, I think that feat only applies to diplomacy. How long have we been talking?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's only diplomacy. Sorry. Well,
Okay.
does it say diplomacy or does it say
It
charisma
might be-
checks?
I know it's related mainly to diplomacy, but it might have something to do with Sean.
Diplomat. Is the
I will.
feat, right?
Yeah. Diplomat, which is.
I mean, diplomats are liars by nature, are liars by profession.
Wow.
Not always.
Not all.
Depends on the
By
diplomat.
profession.
Okay, so it looks like it gives you the persuasion proficiency, but it also If you've been talking to someone for a minute, you can make a check against their insight. If we're fighting it, the check fails and they're charmed as long as it stays within a minute. So yeah, I guess it's not specific to persuasion.
Oh, then go ahead and make the check, because
Okay.
I believe you have been talking for at least a minute IRL.
Okay. So then I need to make a persuasion, and then possibly that gives me advantage on this. So this is the DC they need to fight. This is, yep. That's 24.
Okay, well, let me see how they roll. All right, insight you said.
Insight.
All right, come here, D20. Let's see what you give me. I suppose you get to know if they fail or not, huh?
Let's see.
Well, you'd have to, otherwise, you wouldn't know whether or not to roll with advantage.
Oh, yeah.
So go ahead and roll with advantage on your deception.
All right. Then I will do so. 29.
Not that it was entirely necessary, but
I finally got to use the feat at least.
all right. She frowns a bit.
Sorry.
Well, all right then. No, do have a good night. As I said, I shall be back in a bit.
He nods. You too. See you soon.
And with that, she turns and heads out.
Then Rode enters, wiping sweat off of his forehead. And I guess, of course, he goes over to the group and, kind of checks into the room. Yeah, I thought about doing that, and it would have been easy to do. But it feels safer to do this.
Well, is there anything anybody particularly wants to say or discuss before we do a quick transition?
I think Rode would want to try to get with Silk and Apolia and Phil and Apolia with everything that's happened.
Well, Polly doesn't know what happened.
Exactly. But Saint is right there.
Well, Dreamer, you got RP it. What you gonna say?
Oh wait, I forgot that I was a jerk. Not a jerk, but I forgot that I did the thing, and so Rhoda's going to sort of walk over to Apolia and say, he lets out a whinny.
A Winnie?
Yeah, and he says hello in Pegasus.
I'm like, what?
I like to imagine that was Apollia's actual canon reaction. I don't know if it was, but in my mind's eye, I like to pretend it was.
Yes, and also my reaction. But yay! I don't know how to respond to that.
You know, to be fair, there are non-profanities in the Pegasus language. They're mostly they're mostly words that allow you to connect more swears to each other.
Hey, Apolia speaks all of my languages.
And apparently not her own.
Wait, really?
I forgot to put that on the list.
Oh, goodness.
Road speaks in Pegasus. The Pegasus does not understand.
Let me fix that.
Yeah, hold on a second here.
I mean, I could have.
There we go.
There you go.
Yay!
Nice going. Nice going,
Yeah.
Apolia.
Probably it's the language knowledge from Rhodes' head. And it's like, yeah, I knew that. Sorry.
Yep.
I totally knew that language, yeah.
So yes, Rhoda has said hello to you in your native tongue, much to your surprise.
And Apolia will respond back to her in him in the same tongue, much to her surprise.
Road will smile, sort of give a passing glance to Saint and Silk, and then pretty much start to. Well, actually, how should he start this?
The beginning is usually a good place to start.
In Pegasus, he says something like the lines of, there's some things you need to know.
Oh boy. What kind of things?
There's a gift for this, but I'm forgetting it.
When you say that, your sister looks between the two of you curiously and kind of gets up and walks over to Silk and begins engaging her in somewhat. It begins engaging her in a series of pleasantries.
In Pegasus?
No, in common. With
Silk,
it,
Silk tries to respond, but is not very good at it.
fortunately, it appears that Apollia's sister. Wow, I couldn't remember Apollia's name for a second there. Is quite versed at carrying conversations, even with people who are, shall we say, don't have a lot of experience with it.
So I can only assume then that at some point Silk just kind of stops talking and lets Apolia's sister start.
And she begins discussing everything from juicy gossip to just some fun factoids about the city to just basically whatever rattles about and asking the occasional questions, make sure that Silk is still involved, and turning to Saint and occasionally asking Saint the odd question or two. But everything she talks about is small talk and relatively pleasant, and for some reason she seems to be talking slightly louder than is strictly speaking necessary.
Road smiles gratefully, and in his talking to Apolia, he gets a little quieter with it than also necessary, and goes on to pretty much retell what he and Silk went through.
What did you guys go through? Remember, the session,
Oh.
Apolia is intentionally, the player, Clint, has intentionally left himself in the dark, so you're going to actually have to RP the recap.
Oh, yeah. No, I gotcha. Road tries to think of a good way to put it lightly, and says, hold on, let me get a drink of
Probably a good thing to do.
water. We are kind of in the middle of a house owned by the mafia.
Joy.
It's a long story, but me and Silk there did some investigating and found a couple things. One, say, might be in trouble, or might be trouble. Both of those things.
Can I make a perception to try to hear this?
Do you know Pegasus?
Oh,
To answer your question, it's not necessary. You can tell that they're having a conversation, but it's in a language you can't quite understand. Plus, it is a little hard to hear over the current conversation that you're supposedly a part of. Although, do give me perception all the same. All right. You think you hear the word saint said amongst whatever gibberish they're saying. But granted, it would be saint with whatever however a Pegasus would say that word.
Very strange inflection.
Yeah. Rhodes' accent is probably, now that I think about it, more apparent in Pegasus time. So I
True.
should speak
Then-
more Southern.
Then Rhodes saying Saint's name would probably sound a little more closer to how Saint would used to hear it being said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, there's no need to pretend to do accents, please.
Okay. Yeehaw! No. Okay. So
Cowboys.
Anyways, you were saying.
So a couple things. The- Other than just that, it's a story I'll have to get back to. But we also found out that there's apparently a couple druids around here. Rode pulls open his book, takes 10, picking the lock on it, and flips to his page 13 on interesting people, which I need to actually link now. Heck.
There's,
Uh,
there are page numbers.
Of course, there are page numbers. Page 15, people of interest. I'm sorry. So that should be it. So you see him open the page up, and a lot of it's not related, but what is related, he moves his hoof down to point at the 3 most recent names. There's apparently a couple sort of mystical caretakers for this city. We talked to one of them, Bella here, who told us apparently about a month ago the mountain started to cry and nature told her foreboding things.
The what started to cry?
Road nods, sharing the same sort of expression. The mountain.
Oh,
Oh,
The mountain.
you know.
okay. I didn't understand the word mountain in that.
Oh, my bad. He elaborates. She's heard of the whole undead thing that happened. We filled her in a little bit and she took us away. Then we kind of dressed up and tried to talk to the Mafia and learn about Saints. No, not yet. The Saints' supposed father. Road looks a little conflicted how to say what he's going to say next. She, whatever group she's part of, is working with them, and if it wasn't for Silk's quick thinking, I think we both would have. He kind of does a little head twitch towards Saint's axe. This whole thing is unsettling. I managed to disguise myself again, and we all made our way back here after picking Saint. I don't trust this place.
Neither do I after this. Let's go beat up the owner. I mean, what?
Revolt.
Revolution Part 2.
Satan is none too subtle, just in general, correct?
Blank.
The reason I ask is because as Saint is sort of trying to listen but trying not to. Actually, give me a deception, just roll to see how successful you are. Because you never know. Sometimes the dice disagree. Never mind. All right then. You are
+7
successfully.
to deception? What?
You're successfully hiding the fact that you're trying to listen in on a conversation that you can't understand.
Wait. No,
That beats
you
my
might want to
passive
reread
insight.
that, OC.
What?
He's actively trying not to focus on the.
Oh, you're trying to prevent yourself from listening to the conversation.
Yes.
Ah, willpower, wisdom save, please.
Okay, what would I roll for that?
The wisdom save. A wisdom saving throw. Just roll the
Mega.
20.
Oh, big oof. Ah, there we go.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh dear.
Your willpower is a bit too weak. You cannot help but try and listen to the two conversations at once. So it becomes increasingly obvious that Saint is glancing over at the conversation in Pegasus, and eventually, at some point, Apollia's sister sort of steps to the side and starts asking Saint direct questions about her armor, her her axe, her livelihood, basically doing everything can to try and distract Saint. Which actually
Oh,
that might be a
Saint
conversation.
wasn't paying much attention to that conversation in the first place, but
But that might
How about this? Silk wants to start asking Saint about father.
uh
Yes.
sure we can get to that in just a brief
How's that for a distraction?
because what we can do is I want to have Apollo's sister ask a couple of questions about Saint, and then you can just cut in with father questions. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay. But before we do that,
Let's finish the other conversation first. Though.
yes. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to say or any other thoughts? I believe the last thing that was shared was I don't trust this place, and probably neither do I after hearing all this.
Road might have. It's not exactly the most important, but Road would probably say something along the lines of, I heard a lot about you. Do you think you have any powers or whatever that could be more useful here? And he kind of, I guess not really blushes, but whatever.
Define useful.
Road raises a hoof and then kind of puts it down in thought. Like this one image that I need to find now.
I can do many things.
Remember,
Yeah.
I'm not looking at Discord, so if this is an image that's applicable to the RP, you'll have to describe it.
It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine. All is fine.
Sorry about that. So, I'm not sure entirely what else he would say. There's something
Alright.
I'm forgetting, I think.
Alright, then why don't we go ahead and segue to the other conversation? We'll leave it hanging on purpose. Backtrack just a few moments. That's some nice armor you're wearing. Where did you get it?
Father gave it to me.
Oh, it was a gift from your father. How nice.
Not my father, just father.
Oh, so it's a title then?
It's a name.
Oh, so was it a birthday gift?
Just a gift.
Well, it's always nice to just get gifts from loved ones. Your axe there. Was it also a gift from father?
She nods.
It's a very nice axe. Do you know where he got it?
No. Why would I?
Well,
It's not
just curious.
required for me to know.
Okay, fair enough. I suppose it would be kind of silly to know where gifts came from. So,
What's father like?
He, I, I don't think I'm supposed to talk about him right now.
Why not? We're friends, right?
Which is why I'm not telling you. You could be. I don't know. It's orders, I suppose.
But father's a good person, right?
Oh, yeah, yes, of course.
So why couldn't you tell us about him?
I have instructions.
But you never wondered why?
No, of course not. That would be disloyal.
Did father give you those instructions?
Not directly.
Then
But-
how do you know they're father's orders?
Uh,
One
you're
moment.
right. Let me go ask her. Real
One,
quick.
one moment. I'm back. Sorry. Continue.
Wait,
So
you say
what-
that you were back?
Yes.
OC is now back.
I'm
apparently.
back. I'm delusional.
No, you were
I
fell for
road.
it.
No, you were road. You were lying
Actually,
to
that's
me.
true. Roll deception.
That said, yes.
So Saint, I think, just said
Yes,
they
that's
wanted to
a
go
good point.
check.
Why don't we ask when she gets back, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Or no, Saint's gonna go look for her.
Oh, Saint just straight up leaves the room.
I'm following Saint.
Road will also follow, but before he does, Apolia can tell that it looks like he wanted to say something else to her, but he kind of didn't.
Oh,
Keeping secrets, are you, Rook?
By the
yeah,
way-
saying keeping secrets, aren't you?
By the way, I'm pretty sure the two of you could easily overhear that conversation.
Yeah.
All right, so Road, you head out. Silk, you head out. Saint, you head out. Apollo, do you head out as well?
Sure.
Your sister,
Press simple.
your sister gives you the unglit equivalent of a thumbs up, saying she'll be all right, kind of thing.
Thank you kindly.
It's a very complex Pegasus symbol.
Because in this world, you don't use wings like hands. No, that's not okay.
What? Oh.
No, I hate that. When MLP started doing that, I was no, there's aren't opposable digits. They don't depend. Those are feathers, and I'm not okay with this. I'm getting sidetracked.
Okay. There's all my plans for
Anyways, well, I'm not the DM there, so I have no power now, do I? Right. So, the DM's random passionate rants aside, fun. You actually get to be in the session.
Hey,
The performance is going quite swimmingly. There is things are going off pretty much as anticipated. It's not the best venue you've ever performed in. It's missing a few things you wished it had, but it'll do, more or less. At the very least, the crowd seems receptive, which probably is a miracle considering that most of them don't seem to have more than a couple of don't have more than 2 cents inside their head to rub together. If you catch my drift. And the performance comes to a close, much to riotous applause and cheers, and much joy is had. And the surly innkeeper makes his way up front and looks at her. All right, that was pretty good.
Thank you.
I couldn't. How much would it cost for you to perform here tomorrow night?
Oh, well, where's the rest of my kin staying? Did you see them?
He frowns a bit. When Road and Silk popped in earlier, did you tell anybody where you guys were staying? Didn't you tell one of the helpers where you were staying?
I thought we told Vaughn that we were at the.
Oh, right, you did. And then there was that one reindeer who was gonna show me the way over there.
Right. So then, the innkeeper frowns. He's like, "I believe I heard something about the golden flower."
Ah, yes, yes. That reindeer. Where did he go? I don't think I ever got his name.
He tilts his head curiously, and there's a very enthusiastic wave towards the back of the audience.
Ah, there you are.
He looks, and the moment you seem to recognize it, suddenly several other legs and hooves shoot up in the air, trying to get your attention.
Oh. Hope you don't mind me. I'm just going to back up a bit, and I back off into the balcony and close the doors.
All right,
Just to give it a bit of space.
All right, you close the windows, and that seems to offer an invitation for several individuals to get up onto the stage and press themselves up against the window.
This could be a problem. I look out the balcony, look down at the ground.
You see 3 guards who are just sort of standing there, staring up at it what's the best way to describe their expression? They're sort of in a daze, they're sort of coming down from the high of the experience, as it were. And when they see you, they're sort of a bit surprised. One of them looks up. That was wonderful, miss.
Thank you. Do you know where my friends are?
They look towards each other. And one of them speaks up. Did you have an entourage?
I did. I came from the boat that docked here earlier today.
Oh. All right. Do you know where your entourage went? Are they not with you?
I think they mentioned something about golden flower or something.
They look at each other. Well, it makes sense. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So, are you staying there?
I did do this for lodging here, so I suppose I'll be staying here, but I do wish to know where they went.
Well, if they went to the Golden Flower, it's He points. It's a bit of a haul that way. You head up north past the fountain. There's a fountain. Continue around the bend. You'll pass through the upper docks, and then you'll go right. You'll basically end up right there at the Golden Flower. You can't miss it.
Could
But
you take me there? I don't think I'm gonna be able to get out this way.
well, I apologize, madam, but it's past curfew. No one's allowed out except on official business.
Very well.
Lie to them.
And as
I mean, I guess Citrus is there.
and as
Better
you
charm them.
Cast an orange person on Citrus.
and as you say that, a fairly well dressed longbow emerges from the shadows and approaches the soldiers. Excuse me, looks up at Fawn. Did I hear that you have friends over the Golden Flower?
Yes, yes. If you don't mind me asking, could you take me there?
She looks down at the guards. Please, she clearly belongs there. A lady of her reputation has no business staying in this place. I'm sure you wouldn't mind if I, a respectable lady of the city, wouldn't mind providing her a nice escort over to where she rightfully belongs. The guards look between each other a little uncertainly. Please, I assure you. She pulls out a small sack in hand and slips it to one of them. And there'll be nothing wrong with this. They all look between each other, shrug. They turn and then open the bag and begin splitting the gold that's inside between each other. And the two of them sort of turn around and act as if nothing's going on, and the third one's like, "Oh, of course. Well, it's a dangerous place, but you wouldn't want to let a couple of lovely ladies such as yourselves come under undue harm, particularly if you're honored guests of the Golden Flower," says with visible disgust on his face. "Thank you. I'm so glad to see that they're understanding individuals. Please, come down, madam."
I do so, taking the most direct route possible.
I assume you just jump.
I jump.
Marvelous. I won't have you make an acrobatics check because you wait. No, this is the version that requires like feet for jump, don't you?
I don't need it.
Okay.
I have a means to not need it.
Do you ever ring a feather fall?
I do.
Marvelous. Then you land daintily upon your hooves. And that actually gets a giggle from the longbow. Well, I can't say I was expecting that. Might I get your name, madam?
Yes, my name is Fawn. What is yours?
Oh, I am Lady Gao. Pleasure to meet you. I was out on some errands, but I think they can wait a few moments.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Might
Please,
I?
Sorry, after you.
Oh no. Thank you. I don't know how I would have gotten to my room without you.
Well, I suppose it's quite serendipitous then, isn't it? Come, right this way, please. And you are led up north past the totally inconspicuous fountain. Don't worry about it.
A fruit bat will tag along.
And let's see. You guys
Fruit bat is
lingered.
familiar, right? Or animal companion.
Citrus is familiar.
Oh.
You guys lingered for a hot minute after she left. So we will say you said you were following after her, right? Oh, you went to go look for her, right?
Yes.
When you leave the Golden Flower, which direction do you go? Actually, I stand corrected. When you leave the Golden Flower, when you get about here, I just remembered that the city has a curfew. I mean, what? Hold on.
Actually, can I mention that? Saint, is it a good idea to be wandering around right now?
Sure, why not?
Well,
We need answers, don't we?
I don't think the guards will like it. I don't know if we want to fight the whole city right now.
They'll understand.
No. No, they won't. Nobody else knows who Father is.
Question out of character. But,
Sure.
OC, has it been an hour since Road first disguised? Or
Probably.
disguised as the long?
Yeah, I would say probably, considering the length of time you had to walk around and how long you've been chatting and everything. So I'd say it's been about an hour at least.
Okay. I won't do anything then.
Alright.
Oh, but obviously his suit is looking like a suit and not like guards wear.
Alright, so, Saint, go ahead and move yourself to the entrance of the Golden Flower, would you? Since I assume Silk's arguments or will not dissuade you.
I'm assuming I'm making them as we walk, so.
And as you arrive, there's a guard who is standing there, apparently for the purpose of standing there at the entrance of the Golden Flower, and he holds up a hoof and he's like, "Stop! Curfew's in place. You're not allowed to go any further."
See, I told you they wouldn't like it.
Saint ignores him and just tries to walk past.
No, that's how you start fights.
He steps in front of her. Did you not hear me?
Saint walks past him.
He physically stops in front of her.
I think that's going to require some kind of check, I think.
He steps in front of her to actually physically stop her from progressing. Hey! Did you not hear me? No going!
Maybe we can wait for her to come back.
It's urgent business. I hope you understand.
No.
I don't think he
Official
understands.
orders are official orders. You're not allowed to leave unless you're on official business. And last I checked, I don't have any orders saying you have official business. So turn around and go back to your room.
What rank is this guard?
That's a good question. I don't believe you give me a let's see, there's no knowledge checks.
What would
Give
be
me
like
a...
history or local? Actually, is local a thing?
Road would like to take whatever check, I guess insight,
There's no
it would
local.
be to see if maybe, if he thought about it, if this guard could be bribed.
Insight, that would be an insight, and then to determine what rank this guy is, that's going to be a... I would say history or insight.
Oh,
Well, good thing he was only thinking about doing it.
Alright. Let's see. I was gonna say to see if he's bribable, huh? Well,
Pretty much.
you suspect this guy either A is as rotten as a brown apple, or is the most morally upstanding individual on the planet. You're not sure which. He's definitely one of the two.
I mean, yeah.
Apolia, you don't
Yes.
know the exact insignia of this particular army, but judging from his demeanor and the overall how well equipped he is, you're guessing he's probably like the equivalent of an ensign or a cadet or something like that. Basically the bottom rung, if not right above it.
Can I make an intimidate check?
You may.
oh no!
Boy.
Well, I would also like to make... No, I wouldn't.
Alright, go ahead and
okay.
give me an intimidate check,
We're
Saint.
about to confuse the heck out of this guy.
I mean,
Polly would try to pull rank on him, though.
oh yeah.
Wait, intimidate him and pull rank at the same time.
Yeah.
Alright.
Why not both?
Alright. What do you say to intimidate him? Or do you just try and be scary? I should say, how are you intimidating him?
Let me think.
Why are you doing that? Is anybody actually? Are you going to try and pull rank Apolia? Like, is that
Yes.
gonna do anything?
I'm going to try to pull rank.
That's your background, right?
No.
Okay, Saint walks up, like, right up to him. How much taller is Saint than this guy?
Uh, your helmet makes him. Your helmet and antlers make you a little bit taller than him. How tall is Saint without the armor? Like how tall is it?
Um, Saint without the armor is maybe, like,
Like
a
compared to
few
Velvet.
inches shorter?
Okay. Then
Like, she's, like, normally just think, like, with the armor, she's, like, Celestia size.
don't you mean without the armor, it's like Celestia size?
Well, it's
Oh, he's with the armor,
interchangeable.
but yes.
Then the longbow is probably like an inch or two taller. By an inch, I mean like a puppy paw. Because remember, we don't have inches; we have pups. Yes, it's silly and asinine, I know, but
I
I
like
love
it.
it.
sticking to it.
It's great.
As a reminder, 1 pup equals 1 foot. Now, exactly how long a pup is in your mind, that doesn't matter. Just as far as mechanics conversion is concerned, that's what it is. Also, why y'all PMing me? I'm in the middle of DMing.
Yes.
That said, all right. But yeah, anyways, without the armor, he's probably like a puppy paw or two taller than you. With the armor, you're a bit taller than he am. He is.
Then he am.
Well, someone PM'd me as I was saying that, and Windows 10 popped it up to show me. And the point is you attempt to intimidate him, and he seems to sort of falter a bit, but stands his ground. He's like,
Alrighty then, point B. I'm gonna use. Hold on, where is it?
I'm sorry, you weren't finished your description. You said you were standing up to him, then you asked how tall. What was the rest of your intimidation?
I have something important to do.
Then in that case,
And
reply.
if I don't do this, bad things are going to happen to both of us. So move aside.
He seems a bit shaken, but replies, "Is that a threat?"
A promise.
Oh boy. In fact, Road says that out. Oh.
All right, what
We're gonna
is
set metaphorical fires before we set the actual ones.
what is your DC?
Wait, that might be wrong. Hold on. Shoot. It's 15.
15. Okay, it should be 8 plus your proficiency modifier plus your spellcasting ability, which in your case is charisma, I believe.
Yeah,
So 15,
it is 15.
and this is a Wisdom saving throw. All right, let's see if he passes. He rolled 19 on the dice.
Oh no.
He then replies, "And I promise you that you will have an army down your throat and you will lose your head before the night's over. Back off, back to your room." Whatever it is, it can wait till morning.
So just quickly, was Apollio doing something?
Pulling rank.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead and say your bit, and then I'll have you make a check based on what you say.
Well, now I got to think of something to say.
Oh no.
So that scene just unfolded.
I have an idea, but I want to kind of wait till everything else resolves before I try it. Or
Add me to that list.
it's probably worth asking. What does Saint say upon seeing that uh, that thing failed and he's unfazed? I always forgot he was technically had advantage on that because he's a longbow. That's beside the point. No, to be fair, I suppose silence is a perfectly BRB. I'm an idiot. Type wasn't there.
Uh,
I saw BRBR and I thought that was a reference to I thought there was some weird reference to an old meme. So I legit thought he was just being cheeky or something like that. Oh gosh. Okay.
So I'm just thinking, Clint, do you want me to give you a little more time, or do you want me to just kind of like go ahead with my idea?
Go ahead with your idea.
Okay. So Silk is going to step up to the longbow. Listen, my friend is not very well, and there's a special therapist in town that she's been seeing, but we need to find her very urgently. My friend is a little unstable, and this actually might be an emergency. Can you go find and then give a description of Lady Gao?
Give me a. Ooh, that is both deception and persuasion.
I was thinking deception, but
give me both of those. We'll take the average.
I guess it's kind of true, isn't it?
Yeah, give me both of those, and we'll take the average.
Yay.
Actually, the average is still like 21.
Is that?
That's not bad.
I will hold on to my luck points for now.
Oh yeah, it's 21. Okay, cool. I couldn't math there for a second. He looks over and bites his lower lip and then glances back at Saint. By the way, did Saint have any particular reaction to basically seeing that didn't work?
Reaction to what?
Did Saint have any particular reaction to seeing that her conquering presence didn't work, that it failed? I'm just curious if she had any particular reaction to that or not.
She stubbornly remains in place, like sort of like facing this guard down, this cadet level guard.
He turns towards Silk when she says that and turns back towards Saint with kind of like a "oh" expression on his face. He then turns back towards Silk. Okay, I understand. Orders are orders. There's not a lot I can do.
Look, you can find her for us, or you can let us find her. But we don't have that much time.
Apolia, what do you want to say?
No, I've got nothing. I can't think of anything to say.
Well, perhaps you could be insistent on her. Perhaps you could, you could be like, soldier, I've seen this sort of thing before, and you know how serious it can get, or something like that. Yeah, that was a possible idea to throw in there.
Okay.
I mean, again, there's no pressure. It's not like I'm sitting here saying you have to RP something. Yeah, don't feel.
I'll just not.
Fair enough. But do you still wish to actually try and pull rank though?
No.
Because I'll give it to you as a persuasion check.
What Worst that could happen.
All right. He glances at Saint, glances at Silk, looks over and glances at Apolia, who has approached. And question: Apolia, she's not wearing uniform, right? She's not in uniform.
She is in uniform.
Oh, she's in uniform.
Yes, that is her uniform that she is in.
Oh, okay then. He then looks at her. You look like a soldier, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because she is a
Uh,
soldier.
Because I am. I outrank you, sir.
Well, what do you make of it?
I think that they need help.
Could I inquire as to your rank, sir?
Sir?
No, he doesn't say that.
Madam,
Well, technically, in the IRL army, they say sir regardless of gender. But he doesn't actually say that. He's like, could I inquire as to your rank?
Corporal?
Oh.
It's like 4 or 5 steps above private.
He sort of looked a bit surprised. Oh. Well, sir, what do you think I should do?
I think I can handle watching this group.
Well, I mean, you're not wearing the king's colors, but you understand the need for, a curfew under civil war, right? You get why we're doing this, right?
I understand the curfew for the while under war, yes.
All right. He's
and
giving
you know what a psychotic breakdown is, right?
Uh,
That's
so,
that's at the long run.
yeah, excuse me, Private. Have you ever actually been in combat before?
It's been a while, a really long while. Why do you ask?
Because I may have just been in combat longer than you have, and this is not okay. She motions over to Saint. She needs help.
Oh. Oh. By the way, that was his attempt to persuade Apollyon of the necessity of a curfew. He didn't sound very convincing.
No, he didn't. In fact, Apollia is very much not with the king.
All right. Okay. What does this Lady Gao look like?
Silk describes her again.
Okay. He turns towards Apollyon. Can I? Can I trust you as a fellow soldier to keep an eye on them and just stay here while I go look for her?
Yep, you can trust me.
Is that an honest thing or is that a deception?
That is an honest thing.
All right.
You can in fact trust us to stay here and keep an eye on people.
I will keep an eye on them.
Okay.
Yes.
And are you going to stay here? It's
Where are and aren't we allowed to meander just a little bit? Let's say we move out just a little bit, but stay within eyesight of this location right here.
He shakes his head. You must stay within the confines of the complex, or within the Golden Flower. And he with his hoof, excuse me. He draws a line in the air, basically from this point to this point, or more specifically, from this corner of the building to this corner of the building.
Saint, are you okay with waiting here for Lady Gal?
I'll do whatever's necessary. Just as long as it gets done.
Well, we'll find her.
All right, that sounds good to me. But one part, it's just don't leave because, well, that's the law, and two, if other guards find you, they might not understand the situation, and the last thing we need is a bloodbath tonight.
Very well.
That's what we're trying to avoid.
And that he, with regret in his eyes, it's like, I don't know if I'm making the right decision. He buggers off in this. Oh, not that. No, not stretch him. Move him. There we go.
I mean, I can absolutely guarantee somebody would die if he doesn't go find.
Probably
And,
him.
yes, actually, that as you head to the upper docks,
Well, him
you
among other people.
You see, Fawn, that it is quite heavily guarded. A lot of individuals there. The guard there explains that they are taking you and Lady Gao back to the Golden Flower. They allow you through, and as you cross the bridge, there's a longbow who's running towards them. And the guard regards him. Private? Sir,
What?
have you, sir, forgive me, sir, I need to, I'm in a hurry, sir. Is there a problem? Well, back at the Golden Flower, sir, there's someone who's having a violent breakdown of sorts. I'm looking for a Lady Gao, if you know who that is. And, Fawn, you see Lady Gao next to you, sort of tilt her head curiously. I am Lady Gao. Oh! Ancestors be praised. There's an individual back there, heavily armored, who's apparently having some sort of violent breakdown. It tried to break curfew, and they need to talk to you. Is this individual a reindeer by chance? Why, yes. Why do you ask? She lets out a heavy sigh. Very well. Take me to this individual. With that, the one escorting you sort of looks and shrugs. All right, here, you're in charge of these two now. He turns around and offers a slight salute to Fawn and Lady Gao. All right, well, you two have a good night. Remember, curfew is up, so please hold on to your business until tomorrow morning. Curfew lifts at sunrise. Lady Gao nods elegantly. With that, he buggers off. Right, this way.
Yeah.
And after, like, a surprisingly handful of moments, the guard returns with both Lady Gao and Fawn in tow around the corner.
Ah, Miss Crystalhoof.
If Apolia says that, Rona's going to kind of tap himself against the ground and go, "Ah, that's what it was."
This is the one. He points at Saint, and Lady Gao looks up at Saint with a neutral expression. Approaches. Is something bothering you?
Those orders you gave me. Were they from Father? Or...
You know him. You know him.
She regards Saint curiously. Orders I gave you? I gave you new orders. I'm afraid I don't know what this father you speak of.
Can I make an insight check?
You most certainly may.
Yay.
I'm also going to.
I suck at insight.
Oh, why? Okay, come on, that one. Here we go. Oh, pleasant surprise.
Road's got insight.
Let's see how she did on her deception. Okay.
Was she just so caught off guard that she rolled a nat 1? Please.
She got above a 20.
No. Okay.
Nice.
Road still doesn't believe her.
So yeah, she says that, and
Yeah, can I just assume she's lying without checking?
oh yeah, you can certainly assume whatever you want. It's just she sounds like she's telling the truth.
Yeah, she sounds very believable, but I can't say for sure if she gave orders this time, but orders are a thing that have happened, I'm sure.
So yes, that's her response to you, Saint.
Maybe we should go back inside now that
Yes.
we're all gathered again.
This is probably for the best. Come, Miss. She glances over at Road. Rock Hoof? Oh, I'm sorry, Crystal Hoof.
Road gives a bit of a grin.
With that, she turns ahead back into the room. And the poor guard who is sweating bullets now looks much more calm.
Grin interrupt him like this.
And then give me just one hot second. This, I think, will... Yeah, this will do. I'm going to go ahead and change the map real quick.
Oh dear.
It's not exactly what I had in mind, but it is good enough, so I'm not going to complain. Then we do this. All right. And then I put... We're going to use... You know what? We're going to use this one. That seems fitting. All right.
Also, while we're on break, Citrus buggers off and just does bat thing.
Boy, this is really small. I even scaled this properly. Huh, okay, whatever. Guess we're sticking to half scale.
Well,
Hooray. Alright, yeah, that'll do. And then we'll go ahead and move you all over here. Oh, she's on the wrong layer. There we go.
This is nice.
wait a minute. I know that, Longma.
What? There we go. Okay. Go ahead and place yourselves anywhere near her. This is the entrance you came in at.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, it's that long.
Closet.
Road.
I know. Sorry. My sheet was big and I was just dragging him back. I'm sorry.
All right, so it looks like Clint will be gone for a hot minute or two. So I guess we'll go ahead and take a quick little break. I'm going to see what these PMs people are freaking tagging me with.